You ever wake up, open your phone, and instantly question humanity? Because that's exactly what happened when Bino and Hazel-E decided. They were done with the quiet whispers and came out swinging like they were auditioning for the Zoo cinematic universe. And what they dropped? Oh, buckle up. Because this is the kind of off-camera chaos that makes the Kardashians look like a peaceful group. Therapy session. We're talking leaks so messy they could drown an entire PR team. And receipts so nuclear they might as well come with a radiation warning. The internet thought it had seen everything from the Chrisean rock saga. But then Bino and Hazel-E said, "Hold my phone," and exposed the kind of behind-the-scenes treatment of little Chrisean JR. That has fans clutching their wigs, pearls, and anything else that isn't nailed down. Suddenly, people who were minding their business are now doing FBI-level zooms like they're auditioning for CSI, Instagram edition. Every comment section is in flames. Every fanbase is throwing digital punches. And this leak, this isn't just drama, this is drama with capital letters, neon lights, and a full marching band behind it. Stay right here because what Bino and Hazel-E exposed might just rewrite the entire Chrisean JR storyline forever. From the moment the leak hit the internet, the entire timeline went into cardiac arrest. People act like they've never seen drama before. But this had them screeching like someone unplugged the Wi-Fi mid-battle in Warzone. Bino and Hazel-E didn't just drop screenshots. They unleashed a digital hurricane that ripped through every corner of social media. And the craziest part, they were calm about it, almost too calm. Like to villains in a Marvel post-credit scene casually saying, "Yeah, we did that." The confidence alone sent fans into meltdown mode. It all started when whispers began circulating about Chrisean JR's off-camera situation. Whispers so loud they might as well have been stadium speakers. People were tired of guessing, tired of playing emotional detective with half-blurry clips and suspicious live stream angles. But Bino and Hazel-E weren't offering crumbs, they were offering the whole bakery. Suddenly, the story everybody thought they had figured out shattered like a cheap vase in a reality show. Reunion episode. The receipts landed harder than a WWE finishing move. And the shockwave made fans rethink every previous live stream they ever defended. The world had been watching Chrisean rock, Blueface, Bino, and Hazel-E spiral in a carousel of chaos for months. But none of that prepared anyone for this leak. It was like watching a slow-motion car crash while someone narrated with popcorn in their mouth. The leaked proof hit the timeline and people forgot their jobs, their responsibilities, their relationships because when the mess is this juicy, productivity becomes a myth. Thousands of comments appeared within minutes, many of them typing like their fingers were on fire. The internet doesn't sleep. But that night, no one blinked. The first piece of leaked content showed moments that had fans gasping louder than a preacher, catching someone texting during service. The clip was grainy, chaotic, and somehow even more dramatic than anything Zeus has ever produced. Fans zoomed in so aggressively the pixels filed for workers' compensation. Suddenly, every body language expert, fake psychologist, and part-time TikTok detective crawled out of the shadows to analyze every frame. People were slowing down the video, enhancing audio, adjusting brightness like they were editing for the FBI. It was the most effort anyone had put into anything since the pandemic. As the first clip spread, Bino stepped into the spotlight with the confidence of someone who's been waiting his whole life for this moment. His tone beyond fed up, beyond irritated. He was delivering lines like a villain revealing his master plan. Fans watched the way he spoke, the way he emphasized certain details, and they knew instantly. This wasn't petty drama. This was personal. He spoke with the calm rage of someone who has watched chaos unfold too many times, and finally snapped. And the more he talked, the more the internet erupted like a soda bottle stuffed with Mentos. Then Hazel-E jumped in, and everything went from dramatic to apocalyptic. Hazel-E doesn't tiptoe. She stomps. She speaks like every sentence deserves a drum roll. Her message hit the timeline, and the entire internet grabbed its seatbelt. Because she wasn't easing into anything. She was spinning the block verbally, firing off details with the precision of someone who came prepared with timestamps, backup files, and receipts in alphabetical order. Every word was dipped in attitude and delivered like a courtroom closing argument. Fans didn't even have time to breathe before she dropped the next bomb. What really set the internet on fire was how brutally honest Hazel-E was willing to get. She didn't hold back, not even a little. She talked about the off-camera treatment of Little Jr. with a kind of intensity reserved for whistleblowers and political documentaries. Her claims weren't soft, weren't gentle, weren't sugar-coated. They were raw, unfiltered, and dripping in frustration. The kind of frustration that comes from watching chaos for too long and finally deciding to spill everything. People were shocked, horrified, entertained, and confused all at the same time. A multiverse of emotions erupted instantly. the fan reactions became a whole separate storyline. Some people were screaming "I knew it," like they had just solved a cold case. Others were stunned silent, scrolling through the footage with their jaw dragging on the floor. And then you had the ones who immediately turned it into memes. Which is how you know the internet is not a real place. One meme had Junior photoshopped into a courtroom holding a tiny briefcase. Another had Bino and Hazel-E edited as Mission Impossible agents parachuting in with evidence. Fans were laughing, crying, gasping. It was a full emotional buffet. As the clip spread across platforms like wildfire, people started pulling up old live-stream footage to cross-check details, like amateur archaeologists validating an ancient artifact. That's when the chaos truly escalated. Every old moment was suddenly suspicious. Every background noise, every off-screen voice, every weird silence was now being dissected under the microscope of public outrage. People were throwing around conspiracy theories like confetti. Some were convinced there was even more behind the scenes. Others claimed the leaks were just the beginning. Every minute, another person was shouting in the comments, "Y'all ain't ready for what's next." Celebrities began chiming in because drama this big is gravitational. It pulls everyone in. Rappers, influencers, washed-up reality stars, and even people who haven't been relevant in years suddenly found the energy to speak. Some posted cryptic messages, some dropped shady emojis, and some pretended to be neutral while clearly enjoying the chaos like dessert. A few tried to play peacemaker but were promptly ignored because no one comes to a fire expecting someone to bring water. They come to watch it burn. The celebrity reactions only added extra gasoline to an already blazing situation. Then came the twist no one expected. The public started taking sides faster than a middle school group chat after an argument. People were unfollowing, refollowing, blocking, unblocking, sending essays and DMs, and hosting impromptu live debates. The internet became a courtroom with no judge and no rules. Every user turned into a lawyer overnight. Suddenly, everyone had theories, evidence, and a dramatic monologue prepared. Livestream hosts were going live with titles like "The Truth About Junior," "What They're Hiding." The desperation for views was insane. But honestly, entertaining. Bino doubled down by releasing more details, each one wilder than the last. It was like watching someone slowly peel back layers of a chaotic onion. Every layer stung worse than the one before. And just when you thought he couldn't possibly have more, he revealed something else that sent people into a frenzy. His delivery was icy, calculating, and dripping with a vibe that said, "I'm not done yet." Fans sat there refreshing the page like their life depended on it. Every update felt like a plot twist from a show none of us subscribed to, but are now emotionally invested in. Hazel-E wasn't about to be overshadowed. She came back swinging with her own follow-up, almost as if she had a folder labeled in case things get messy. Her new details intensified everything. People couldn't look away. Her energy was theatrical, intense, and borderline unstoppable. The digital equivalent of someone slamming receipts on the table during a family argument. She didn't just give information. She delivered a performance. Not even the Avengers could have stopped her momentum. Fans were glued to their screens like it was the season finale of a scandalous reality show. The outrage exploded once parents started reacting. Whenever a topic involves a child, the internet goes DEFCON 1 instantly. People were posting long paragraphs about parenting, morality, responsibility. Paragraphs so long they could have been dissertations. Some of the loudest voices were influencers who built their entire brand on giving advice they don't personally follow. The hypocrisy was delicious, but every new reaction amplified the drama further. It turned from celebrity mess to a global online debate. People were crying online, arguing online, threatening to unfollow people they don't even know personally. Then came the moment fans realized this wasn't just another messy saga. This had real consequences. Brands started distancing themselves. Livestream hosts began deleting old episodes. Commentators started taking disclaimers more seriously. Chaos is explosive, doesn't stay contained. It spills into every corner of the culture. Suddenly, content creators were scared to cover the story incorrectly because the internet was fact-checking every syllable like a team of over-caffeinated librarians. No one wanted to get dragged, so everyone tread lightly. Meanwhile, the views on every clip were skyrocketing into the millions. The memes continued to evolve, becoming more unhinged by the hour. Someone edited Junior as a tiny superhero escaping the chaos. Someone else put Bino and Hazel-E in a dramatic movie poster titled Receipts. The cinematic universe. TikTok users were reenacting the leaks with dramatic soundtracks and slow-mo effects. Fan pages were posting conspiracy timelines. Twitter threads were reaching 50,000 likes overnight. The story wasn't just viral, it was a cultural event. It was a Super Bowl of mess, and every platform was fighting for the best angle. As new clips surfaced, public outrage hit its peak. People demanded accountability. Some demanded apologies. Others demanded interviews. A few demanded someone go live immediately because the suspense was emotionally damaging. The internet was shaking like an old washing machine with too many genes in it. And with every fresh reaction, every new detail, and every emotional rant, one thing became painfully clear: this saga wasn't anywhere near finished. It was mutating, expanding, spiraling. The chaos was alive, and just when everyone thought they had seen the apex of drama, the story took an even darker turn. The aftermath hit the internet like a meteor. One minute everyone was screaming, refreshing, arguing, and the next, silence washed across the timeline. The kind of silence right before a storm levels an entire city. People were trying to process what they had seen, what they had heard, and what they had zoomed in on with unhealthy dedication. Everyone realized the leaks weren't temporary drama. This was something bigger, something heavier, something that was about to reshape how the public viewed every live stream, every clip, every meltdown, every tearful moment. For the first time, people looked at the entire storyline differently, suddenly. Past moments that fans defended fiercely now look suspicious. Old viral clips resurfaced like ghosts demanding revenge. Fans started replaying every chaotic live stream with new eyes, analyzing every reaction, tone shift, and weird pause. People were noticing things they brushed off months ago. The stressed laughter, the tension in the background, the sudden camera cutoffs. Entire threads formed with timestamps, theories, and breakdowns more detailed than true crime documentaries. It wasn't just entertainment anymore. It was a case study on digital chaos. Celebrities who originally laughed at the mess stopped laughing real fast. Some quietly deleted their comments. Others locked their profiles to avoid being dragged into the fire. A few even released half-hearted statements about positive energy and sending love, which everyone knew was code for "I do not want your fanbase in my comments at 3 a.m. The atmosphere shifted. What started as a circus turned into a courtroom. People weren't cracking jokes anymore. They were pointing fingers, demanding accountability, and acting like they had been personally appointed investigators by the universe. Meanwhile, Bino and Hazel-E watched the internet burn like two people who lit the match and walked away slowly, without looking back. Their confidence didn't waver for a second. Instead, they doubled down on their stance, making it clear they weren't just stirring chaos for attention. They believed they were exposing something that needed to be seen. Whether the public agreed or not didn't matter. The damage was already done. The story was out, the reactions were explosive, and the narrative had shifted permanently. They had stepped into the role of whistleblowers, and the internet couldn't look away. The ripple effects hit Chrisean harder than anyone expected. Even fans who defended her in every situation were now conflicted. People who once flooded her comments with hearts and encouragement began asking tough questions. Others speculated whether she would respond publicly or stay silent. Some believed she would come back swinging with a comeback so dramatic it would break the internet again. Others predicted she'd go quiet and let the storm pass. But the truth is, the internet doesn't let storms pass, it marinates in them. Then the parenting debate exploded into an entirely different conversation. Everyone suddenly became an expert on child development, early attachment, and emotional well-being. People who can barely keep their plants alive were typing 10-paragraph essays about proper guardianship. Some argued passionately in her defense, insisting every leak was taken out of context. Others claimed the leaks proved everything they suspected all along. It became a gladiator match in every comment section. No matter what side someone chose, they were guaranteed to get attacked by someone with too much free time and unlimited Wi-Fi. The wildest part wasn't even the debates. It was the unexpected alliances forming online. People who hated each other last week were suddenly agreeing for the first time ever. Opposing fanbases temporarily merged like a chaotic political treaty. Even rival influencers were tagging each other like, "Okay, we need to talk about this." Nothing unites the internet like a scandal big enough to require emotional teamwork. For a brief moment, the timeline became one giant, confused family meeting. As the dust settled, the public started discussing the long-term consequences. Would this affect court cases, custody situations, future opportunities? People speculated like they were inside the group chat of every lawyer involved. Some began begging for official statements. Others demanded interviews. A few delusional souls even suggested a joint live stream to clear the air, completely ignoring the fact that such a live stream would trigger the apocalypse. The public had zero chill and even less logic, but deeper conversations began brewing. Conversations about fame, pressure, unstable environments, and the toll of living life under public surveillance. It was ironic. The same people who watched every live stream religiously were now questioning whether live streams were the problem to begin with. The hypocrisy was thick, but the sentiment was real. People were starting to acknowledge that chaos doesn't happen in a vacuum. It grows, festers, festers more, and eventually explodes for the world to see. Hazel-E's involvement hit differently. Her fanbase began treating her like a reluctant hero. They posted edits, quotes, montages, and motivational captions under her posts. Even people who used to drag her admitted, publicly or privately, that she had courage. Meanwhile, Bino supporters praised him like he had just taken down a corrupt empire. The narrative surrounding both of them shifted dramatically. They went from supporting characters in the saga to key players the internet suddenly respected, or at least listened to with more attention. But with every major scandal, there comes the inevitable backlash. People who were initially supportive began doubting, questioning intentions, and guessing motives. Some argued Bino and Hazel-E were doing too much. Others insisted they hadn't done enough. The debate turned into a messy swirl of opinions, accusations, and emotional reactions. The internet became a frying pan full of oil. One wrong drop of water and everything was popping, sizzling, and burning uncontrollably. Then came the emotional whiplash. One moment people were outraged. The next, they were sympathetic. Then confused. Then angry again. It was a roller coaster without seatbelts. The leak had touched something deeper, the instability of public relationships, the dangers of oversharing, and the quicks and that forms when personal issues become public entertainment. People were trying to process the drama while also acknowledging how addicted they were to watching it unravel in real time. Eventually, the timeline began asking the question everyone avoided at first. What happens to Junior after this? The discussion took a more serious tone. The public realized that behind all the chaos, memes, arguments, and messy leaks, there was a real child at the center of the storm. And that realization hit hard. For once, people paused their jokes and looked at the situation through a sobering lens. The tone changed completely. What started as viral entertainment shifted into a collective moment of reflection. Still, one truth remained. Nothing was ever going to be the same. The narrative surrounding this family had been permanently altered. The leaks didn't just expose a moment. They exposed a pattern, a lifestyle, a dynamic that people could no longer ignore or excuse. Whether the internet sided with Bino and Hazel-E or not, the aftermath carved a permanent mark into the public perception of everyone involved. This wasn't a storyline you leave and come back to. It was a storyline that demanded attention long after the final clip faded. The internet thrives on mess, but it also never forgets. This scandal will live online forever. It will resurface every time someone goes live, every time a new clip drops, every time another argument erupts. Screenshots will be reposted. Memes will be revived. People will reference this event for years like it was a global moment. And honestly, it kind of was. Nothing unites the timeline like mutual shock, outrage, and the promise of even more chaos on the horizon. And that's exactly where the story ends. Not with closure, but with the uncomfortable realization that in this universe of public drama, the next explosion is always lurking just moments away. And if you somehow survived all this chaos without losing your voice from screaming at your phone, congratulations, you're built different. Because honestly, this saga had more twists than a telenovela written by someone who hasn't slept in 3 days. And knowing how these situations go, the next chapter is probably already brewing somewhere in a group chat or a messy Instagram live queue. One thing's for sure, this story isn't slowing down. It's just getting warmed up. So before the next digital earthquake hits, smash that like button like it owes you money. Hit subscribe the way Hazel-E hit the internet with those receipts. Drop a comment with your wildest theory, your funniest meme idea, or simply your emotional support message after witnessing this level of chaos. And don't act innocent, you know you're coming back for the next scandal. You might as well make it official. Turn on notifications so you never miss the next eruption of drama, because in this universe, news drops faster than people unfollowing each other after a heated argument. Every leak, every twist, every meltdown, it all lands here like clockwork. If you blink, you're behind. If you sneeze, you've missed 3 updates. And if you log off, don't even try catching up later. The timeline will leave you in the dust. So stay locked in, stay entertained, stay ready, because the next shockwave is already loading. And trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next.